Hey y'all, welcome back to B.A.E.'s Corner. Books are everything. Okay, today I'm coming to y'all with this book review from my girl Candi B. This is called Addicted to a Dirty Rich Thug. Okay, so can we take the time? I'm gonna put, I normally put the book cover in before I even start talking. Y'all, okay. Okay, so the first thing I noticed, I loved the book cover. Okay, I'm gonna take y'all back to a time when you could look at a book cover and you could kind of tell what the book was gonna be about. I really didn't think too much of it until I really started getting into this book. All I'm gonna say is make book covers make sense again, okay? Because she did that with this book. And I'm gonna talk about the book first, and then when I talk about the book, we're gonna see why it makes sense. Okay. This started off with my girl, Alasia. It could be Alea, but it probably is Alea. It's probably not Alasia. It's probably Alea. The J is probably silent. So we'll say Lay. Lay is what I like to call a damsel in distress. The issue with a lot of damsel in distress is they don't even know that they're stronger than what they think. She with this lame ass, punk ass guy, Diggy. Diggy is what, he's the normal ain't shit boyfriend. The only issue with this nigga is he got a hand problem, a foot problem, a mouth problem. But the thing is, he has a camp full of people that are afraid to say anything to him. I felt so bad for Lay, when we first introduced to her, because the way it starts off is, we automatically realize she has an ain't shit boyfriend. And you never really, until you go further into, the chapter and stuff, you see just how awful of a boyfriend this guy is. But the issue with him is he's upheld in all his wrongs. People see this young lady being treated awfully. People see, like, him beating her. Nobody steps in to do anything. And that's the biggest issue that I have within the first couple of chapters. This is everybody upholds him in his wrong. Now, y'all know the only thing I hate more than the ain't shit ass nigga is the ain't shit ass mammy that hold her son up in his wrongs. And that's exactly what Diggy has. Diggy has a mammy, because she ain't a mama, a mammy, and that upholds him in all his wrongs and blames everyone else for her son's shortcomings. Now, we are introduced to his homeboy, Jabari. Jabari rubs me the wrong way because, like, he seems very, very weak to me. Like, how can you watch this young lady be mistreated and not do anything? Like, yeah, you may come and you may hold my hand and rub my forehead after he whooped my ass, but nigga, what was your antennas when he was tossing me every which way but loose? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, you find out why Lay thinks that it's okay to be in a relationship like this. And that's a lot of females' issue. They think that they can't do anything for themselves because they're so afraid of going back to the hood. I'd rather be in the hood where it's all good than me get my ass tossed every which way but loose. You feel me? Okay. But anywho, like I said, Jabari, in my notes, I call him weak ass. Like, when I understand that these notes are written from the time that I first started reading the book up until the end of the book. So for when I first met Jabari, I called him weak ass. Okay. So we go further on, and we already can tell that Diggy's grimy. We can tell that he's up to no good, and we later find out that it really is true. But in the midst of all that, we found out that Jabari really isn't who Jabari has portrayed himself to be from the first page up until, whenever we found out who he really is. And it kind of makes sense to why he's so nurturing when it comes to Lay. He sees a lot of his mother in her, which I think is a common thing in a lot of guys in books or in reality when they actually fall in love with a female. So then that's when we introduced to who Jabari really is, and he really is Baptiste, and Baptiste is that nigga, okay? And he has a soft spot for Lay because he's seen what she's going through. I feel like at this point, once they found out who Baptiste really is, I feel like that gray cloud that was over Lay, she is like in a better place. And sometimes that's really what you need. You gotta let go of all that bad that's going on in you. And you can see like her growth. You can see Lay's growth from that first page up literally to the last page. It like, okay, I don't want to say that life is all about finding a man and this man being the best man for you, or, you know, being with somebody is the most important thing. But honestly, when I read this book, the man that you are with really can make you or it can break you. Although everything that Diggy did to her, he did it to break her. It took a man like Baptiste slash Jabari, or Jabari slash Baptiste, to let her know that what she thought was her weakness, it really wasn't. She's a very strong female. Now, her best friend, I love her best friend. Everybody know that every book, I'm a book, like I'm what you call like a bookie best friend lover. Because every best friend is what the main character isn't. I've said that 1,000 times. And in this case, mine is everything that Lay isn't. And when it comes to being outspoken, fearless, besides when it comes to her boyfriend, she is that. It's a couple of other characters that you know, that come in the book, and then they take over your heart because they have a backstory that relates this person to this person. And I don't want to give y'all too much about this book, but y'all, like, character development, like, lengthwise, this is a great book if you just want something that's really gonna hold your attention from the first page to the last page, because the growth of each character, from either being like where this person was weak to the last page they strong. From the first time you meet them, they are this unreadable person, to the end where you can see like they actually have a heart. Every aspect of it, you're not left wondering what really happened, because this author made sure she laid that down. Now, my favorite part of this book is when we meet Gripper. Gripper is Baptiste's secret weapon. Now, the thing that I love about Gripper is Gripper's a snake, and when him and Lay first meet, you can see her infatuation with him. If y'all hear something, they're my kids, and they got like a broad imagination, so that's what that really is. I'm not gonna edit it out because they just gonna keep hollering and playing cops and robbers or whatever they playing. So ain't nobody dying. It's really just my kids. But Gripper is the snake. Awesome. I love, like, you can see, I think Lay sees a lot of herself in Gripper, like just this beast waiting to be unleashed. Remember that, okay? Because from the first minute that Lay meets Gripper, she's automatically drawn to him. And I think it's a point in the book where Baptiste asked her, like, what is your infatuation with my pet? And he's like, you know, my pet don't care about you. But, like, her infatuation with him, from my standpoint, is, like, is this, like, she's been bottled up in all this stress because Gripper is kept locked away. So, once he's released to do whatever his job is, you know, that's when that beast is released, and like you come into true form, like you really see this anaconda in true form. And I think that was the point of Gripper and Lay. Like Lay, this whole beginning of the book, we watching her be this bottled up, like abused and misused person, to the last page, you gonna unleash that beast, okay? So the reason I said make book covers make sense again, if you look at this book cover, I really didn't get it, because I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, it's a cool book cover, but I'm not one of those people that judge a book by its cover. You see what I did there? But I'm glad that I actually took the time to look at the cover, because baby, like I see what you did there with the snake, and like it looks very like it makes sense, because it's like this rough and rich type of cover, and then you got the snake in there. Because I mean, I honestly was like, why she got a snake on the cover? Like, is she like getting a Prada bag made or something with snake skin? Like, honestly, that's really what I thought, but it really made sense, and it brings the book into true form, because like that little small detail with the snake, I don't think anybody would have ever thought about it. You probably didn't even think about it, for real. It could just be me, because when I was reading the book, I don't know. Y'all know how I get when I'm reading books. But shout out to your book art. You know, I don't know if you told them, like your book cover person, I don't know if you told them, you know, this is like my vision and stuff. I want these elements put into it. But that was executed perfectly. And I love it. I love the book cover. If I could go, and I may do that. I may do my favorite book cover video. Because I do have a couple of them that I just love and they make sense to me. But I loved your book cover. So with that being said, I'm running a campaign. Make book covers make sense again. Even though, you know, it's frowned upon to judge a book by its cover. But in reality, sometimes we just want a different book cover. Because a lot of times they kind of all look the same. I love y'all, but sometimes they really do, and I kind of get confused about my books. If I can't remember the name of the book, I always try to go by the book cover, but I can't do that if a lot of y'all book covers look the same. Another thing that I love about Candi B is her male characters are always foreign. Y'all, the first book I read by her was about this African doctor, and I love that book. It was a series, and I'm gonna put that down there for y'all too. So that's 3 books that y'all gonna get from my girl Candi B. This one is a standalone, a long standalone. You're not gonna want for no more. You might, because I think at the last page I was kind of like, dang, she's savage. She need to come with a part 2. But no, I don't want you to do that. I think that you ended it perfectly. I loved it. Y'all check out my girl Candi B. Y'all already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the bookies group right here. I'm gonna put this book with the link. Then I'm gonna put that other book link that I was talking about. She also has some collabs with my auntie Kendra something. Y'all know how much I love her, so I may put that book link right there. Y'all know my disclaimer. I buy all these books with my money, because this is what I do. I read, I review, and sometimes I write. So y'all check out these books. I'm gonna post them. Y'all click them, and I can see if y'all really went and, you know, clicked on the book link. Get this girl, you know, go check her out. I really appreciate y'all. That's it for B.A.E's Corner. Bye. And remember, books are everything.